We all know the Empire State Building. It's one of the most famous buildings on the planet, a true symbol of engineering power. But what if I told you it has this incredible secret, hiding in plain sight, right under everyone's feet? Okay, get this. The Empire State Building weighs a staggering 365,000 tons. But its floors, they aren't made of solid concrete. They're actually hollow ceramic blocks that lock together just like a puzzle. So how is that even possible? Let's dive in. To really understand this building's secret, we've got to go back to 1930 and put ourselves in the shoes of the engineers. See, the problem wasn't just about building tall. It was about managing the absolutely colossal weight that comes with all that height. Just try to wrap your head around that number. 365,000 tons. That's the weight of the entire building, all of it, pressing down on its foundation. Every beam, every window, and every single floor adds to this unbelievable load. So, this was the critical question for the engineers. How in the world do you support the weight of a 102-story tower without it just collapsing under its own mass? They knew they had to get creative. They had to find really clever ways to cut down the building's dead weight. The fixed, unchanging load of the structure itself. And their solution? Well, it was as brilliant as it was completely unexpected. Instead of just using brute strength and super heavy materials for the floors, they looked to something surprisingly light and hollow. So what was this mystery material? You're not going to believe it. The floors of this massive building are made of simple terracotta. Yeah, that's right, the same kind of stuff you'd find in a garden flower pot. Terracotta is really just baked clay. Seriously, think of a flower pot. It's way stronger than you'd think for its weight, and it's also incredibly fire resistant, which, as you can imagine, is a super important safety feature in a skyscraper. And this humble material was the secret weapon chosen to hold up an icon. Let's just compare the options they had. A traditional solid concrete slab, it would have been insanely heavy, super slow to pour and set, and it would have needed a much, much heavier steel frame to support it all. But the hollow terracotta block system, it was lightweight, it could be installed incredibly fast, and it shaved off precious time and, more importantly, tons and tons of weight. But wait a minute, how could simple clay blocks possibly support the floors of a skyscraper? Well, the magic wasn't just in the material itself, but in the system. A design so clever it was basically self-supporting. The process was just a masterclass in efficiency. You see, after the main steel I-beams were in place, workers would literally wedge these specially shaped terracotta blocks between them. They were tapered, so they locked together like puzzle pieces, which formed a shallow but incredibly strong arch. Then, a thin layer of concrete was poured right on top, not for strength, but just to get a nice level surface. And here's the crucial part. Once those blocks were wedged in, this geometrical lock created a stable, self-supporting floor. Any weight pushing down, like people or furniture, gets turned into horizontal pressure that actually pushes the blocks tighter together against the steel beams. It's this distribution of force through the arch that makes it so unbelievably strong. Now, choosing terracotta wasn't just about saving weight. It unlocked another huge benefit that was just as important to the project's success: speed. I mean, totally unprecedented construction speed. The entire skyscraper, from the foundation all the way to the spire, was built in just over 13 months. That is an absolutely record-breaking pace that's still astonishing, even by today's standards. And you can bet the terracotta floor system was a massive part of how they pulled it off. This incredible speed was possible because of a strategy called parallel execution. Basically, it's the idea of doing a bunch of different jobs at the same time, just on different floors. Because the terracotta blocks were so light and easy to handle, you didn't need huge cranes or complex equipment. Floor installation could happen right on the heels of the steel erectors. This timeline shows you exactly how it worked. Just imagine this. While steel workers are way up on the 30th floor putting up the frame, crews 10 floors below them are busy installing the terracotta blocks. And on the 10th floor, other teams are already working on the outside facade and the interiors. This amazing coordination let them build at a rate of almost a floor a day. Incredible. So when you put it all together, the story of the Empire State Building's floors is just this perfect lesson in engineering ingenuity, connecting a super sophisticated skyscraper back to one of the simplest materials you can imagine. So in the end, it really is this simple. The world's most famous skyscraper stays in the sky by using the same humble clay you'd find in a flower pot to lighten its load. It's just a perfect example of how sometimes the simplest solution is also the most brilliant. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we look to build even taller and more ambitious buildings in the future, what other simple, overlooked materials out there might hold the key to the next great engineering breakthrough?